I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, a book series or extra long novel. It opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, "I don't know why I tried to do this," and by way of explanation, tells her life story. We are about 40 pages into book 3. I guess that would be about a quarter of the way. No, are we already at halfway? I don't know how many pages we're into it. The working title is Shiny Pretty Gothic. Last week in Do the Wrong Thing, Ava, increasingly disturbed by the poverty and drug doing of her new circle, moves from her warehouse to a repurposed supply closet just as she starts art school. This chapter is called Rest Not Rot. Back at the loft, Rick has moved in with Michelle. Not that they're back together, but not that they're apart. Rick has built a room in the corner of the side I used to sleep in, up near the front door, using Indian cotton sheets, bookshelves, and scavenged wood. An American flag serves as his door. Soon, Edward and Adam can't make their rent, so they move in. Edward puts his waterbed against the wall that divides the place in half, close to where my bed used to be. The bathroom makes a sort of corner, so his bed is hidden from the entrance, a thing I chose not to do because 1, I loved all the space around me, and 2, I wanted what little light that came in from the window to hit me in the mornings. Adam sleeps on a cot near Rick's indoor shack. Technically, Adam only stays at the loft when he needs a break from his grandmother's couch, but realistically, he's at the loft until people get sick of him. Then he'll go home to his grandmother's for a few days before coming back. No longer a minimalist theater set for a Samuel Beckett play, my bedroom has become a squat. It feels like ages since I dreamed of studying art at Affinitas, but my first session isn't anything like those admittedly nebulous dreams. For one thing, there are about 30 people in the classroom with easels placed erratically about, creating a lost in the crowd environment, with all of us jockeying for a view to the front. As I work, "Quickly, quickly," shouts the instructor. I imagine myself like a 3D child's finger painting, messy and in primary colors, while everyone around me is like a Degas or Renoir, masterly and poised. If you're one of the angels in Wings of Desire and you floated into the classroom, you'd notice me right away, struggling, disorganized, while a whir of confident, painterly expertise clicked away all around me. Every stroke I make is laborious. I don't have control over my hand or my arm. How will I ever make art if I can't control my hand and arm? It's the longest 2 hours I ever spend. I don't go back. Edward is in his kitchen making spaghetti while I lace up my high tops, pull up my workman's socks, adjust the cuffs of my jeans, and leave without saying anything. In the elevator down, I stare at the surrounding buildings, seeing the roofs and cracked yellow walls like I've never seen them before. Everything is in super high focus. Wandering through the weekend deserted streets and empty parking lots, a lost character from a Cassavetes movie, I end up sitting on a road divider beside a playground. Why did I leave? Edward had invited his parents over for a housewarming dinner. Why couldn't I stay at my old loft? Dark, when I return, I didn't bring a coat and the cold brought me back. Edward's parents have already left and he's cleaning up the dishes. He stares at me like I'm a stranger. The squall. I look over at Michelle and we both stifle laughter. Edward sits on the edge of his waterbed, facing away from us, bent over his electric guitar, completely focused on the caterwaul he's producing. Later, when Rick comes home, Edward rhapsodizes about the incredible music he made. Now Michelle and I can't help ourselves. We burst out laughing. Edward glances over, but doesn't seem to realize that we're laughing at him. It wasn't his guitar playing that was fantastic. It was Rick's acid. This hippie pad, the voice growls as I ascend from sleep. Opening my eyes, I see the pipes above Edward's waterbed. I smell stale beer and cigarettes. You have 24 hours to be out. I look over to see my ex-landlord, gray curls and a tweed sports coat, standing at the foot of the bed. Our eyes meet for a second, then he turns and stomps out, slamming the door behind him. Michelle calls a legal service. No, he can't enter without permission, and no, he can't kick you out with 24 hours notice, they tell her, but he can kick you out at the end of the month. Someone smashed the building's main glass entry door the night before. That, and the ongoing cigarettes and beer bottles left around the building, in the freight elevator, in the hallways, on other floors. There's diamond cutters below, and they're furious. I stare past my Paddington Bear coat and dirty high tops to the wet striped rubber of the bus's aisle. I turn slightly, hoping Faith won't see me. Ava, she says in that incredibly deep voice of hers. Hi, I mumble, glancing at her briefly, then returning my gaze to the floor. She adjusts her tone. Where are you headed? Borden, to a friend's. Borden is the English, unhip part of Release. Faith, as usual, is a living jewel. She must be rich. That gold and silver embroidered patchwork coat. I peek at its thick fabric from beneath my tangle of hair. See ya, Ava, she says gently when she gets off. It's not pity in her voice, but close. February 24th, 2017, 10:15 p.m. Here is something no one talks about, well, I guess it's despair. It doesn't feel like despair. Complacency, small expectations for yourself. If it's not despair, why do I feel like crying though? You're moving along, writing your goddamn story, and it takes about 5 years longer than you expected it to. Whatever. Your investments have grown and now you'll never have to work again. Great. You would assume you'd have to go back to work unless your book sold well, though you thought that maybe you'd go back as a writer or writing workshop leader or something like that. But you put faith in yourself, the one you don't see, but seems to live somewhere in the recesses of your mind and heart. And things worked out, though nothing like what you expected and not via this self. Really, the seeds you planted about a decade ago when you decided to stop hating money and embrace it grew and blossomed. Maybe it is yourself and you're merely dumb as to what that actually is. Maybe the money part is yourself. Yourself is connected to other selves, nature, the universe. Yourself can't be isolated. Maybe money is congealed energy, like that book you read when you stopped hating money. The trade of one person's energy or part of their self for another's. Maybe this is all part of a growth cycle. Anyway, the writing gives you the at home in self feeling, the confidence. And while that was developing, so was your money. And honestly, they both ripened like a vegetable garden at the end of the growing season. Is that what life is? It would make sense that people mirror the lives of plants and animals, all different renditions of the same life force. I'm sure the concept of exponential fits in here, the concept that growth is not linear, but exponential. Here's another interesting thing. When my investments went up, I started thinking how smart and visionary I am. Like I'm literally better than others, and that's why I knew enough to take those risks. I didn't try to feel like that. In fact, I thought it over and over again. When you don't have to depend on anyone else for survival, your whole worldview changes. Is that bad? Everyone should get to feel this confidence and strength at least once in their lives. But when my stocks went down, the I'm so smart stuff went with it. I thought about the jobs I might have to get. I didn't want to go back to those long, lonely nights, lol, like this one, I guess. But now I'm not anxious. I'm not measuring up for anyone except myself. Crash. Edward and I bolt upright in my basement apartment and turn to each other. He puts his fingers to his lips and turns down the TV. We listen. We don't hear anything. He stands and creeps towards the door, which he opens slowly. We listen again. I hear traffic noises louder than normal and feel a draft blowing in. Edward grabs a metal desk part from the pile of junk outside my door and we sneak forward up the stairs. I see him relax when he gets to the top. He looks back at me and rolls his eyes. I step up to meet him and see his ex-roommate, Claude, standing on the sidewalk amid a pile of broken glass. I couldn't find the buzzer, Claude smiles. He's not triumphant or anything. He's high as fuck and drunk.